the thing that will help you become more at ease and comfortable and proficient in the intuitive space is just spending more time there, engaging it. You see, as you say, every day, all day long, we spend time in our intellects and engaging the world through our intellects. And we scarcely spend, a few minutes spending time, engaging our intuitive side. So the key, the biggest thing you can do is just spend more time engaging your intuitive side. That means as you approach all those things that you now approach just with your intellect, approach them both with your intellect and with your intuitive side. So it's not that you have to spend more hours in meditation. You have your intent to, let's say, understand people more deeply. As you meet people, your intellect says, oh, that person, let's see, they're this way, they're that, they look like they have this nationality, that kind of job, this responsibility, because I'm meeting them at work, and you're making all these assessments of them with your intellect. Well, you can use your intuitive side and say, how do they feel? What are they thinking? Are they coming here, with a negative or a positive purpose? And there's a lot of information there. Where do they come from? But you can then see kind of them with your intuitive side at a more personal, deeper light, not just a body that has this job and these kind of attributes, but rather a whole person. So then you start relating to the people as whole persons, with their own struggles and their own needs and ambitions and things they're trying to do, and you not just look at them and say, well, how are they going to affect me? But how are they affecting, who are they? What are they? What are their dreams? What are their goals? What are they trying to accomplish? So you try to see the world a little bit from their viewpoint. So that's the intuitive side working. So if you spend more time doing that along with your intellect, don't drop your intellectual stuff. You need that intellectual stuff, to get by in our world. You have to have that intellectual stuff working, but you can work your intuitive stuff along with it. And if you see somebody and they look particularly tired or worn out or frazzled or upset, give them a little calming energy. Send them a little energy that says it'll be all right. Just relax. Let it go. In the big picture, what got you so upset just isn't all that important. And you can give them a little bit of that. Again, that's all work on the intuitive side, but it's during your normal day. And it's because you are aware of their being upset, even though they're trying very hard to cover that and not to let that show. You're aware of it anyway, because you're intuitively connected with them. So that's the way to go about it. Just spend more time with it. The more time you spend, the more comfortable it is, the easier it is. And of course, you have to always be looking for evidence that what you're getting on the intuitive side is true.
Yeah.
It's not just what you're making up. It's not just your belief about that person, but it's really true about that person. So you take everything with skepticism and you look for little things that will verify that your intuitive information is correct. And you may even ask them a question of something or other, just to get some information to verify whether or not your intuitive thing was correct. But you have to be careful. You don't want to scare people or anything. But so that's how you do it. Now, as far as how did I do that? Well, I came into this world very right brain connected to begin with. My struggle was the other way. My struggle was to add a left brain to that right brain. I was very right brain, very holistic, had big pictures from as early as I can remember. And I had to learn to be more rational and more intellectual and that sort of thing, which is why I was driven toward science, because science will put you in that the intellectual, logical space. And I had to learn how to master that so that I would be more balanced. So I really came from it the other side. And then when I kind of walked away from that right brain side as I was getting into physics and in graduate school and that sort of thing. But when it started to come back to me, it was easy. That's why the first time that I sat down to meditate, it was a cinch. I just dropped off in a few seconds and came back, and geez, almost an hour was gone, and I only logged about 10 minutes or 5 minutes. And so it was just easy to do the intuitive things once I came back to it, even though I had left it for a decade or two. It was still there. So then I just had to practice a little to get it so it wasn't so random and was under control. So that's my own story. But for most people, they've got left brain dominance, even if they're right brain people, because you live in a world that demands left brain dominance. Our culture demands that you pay attention and that you have an intellect, and that intellect follows directions and understands things. And so otherwise you'd never show up at work on time, and you'd forget to pay the mortgage, and you just can't get by in our world without having an intellect that's working. But the best way to be, of course, is with a fully developed intellect and a fully developed intuitive side, both. That's what we're striving for.